Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland. Oh boy, let's do this.
Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I would doubt it. But, I mean...
Because that would be stupid.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
I approve this message.
I really, 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 really don't see Apple ever doing that. I am Nadella.
I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing.
Yeah, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host tonight, Caleb, and I'm here with Landon.
Hello.
And that's it, as you've probably expected, considering it was me talking and not Wes. He is ill and unable to join us for recording this night, which is okay because I'm sure nothing happened with Microsoft, and we're definitely not going to miss out on anything in the Xbox land either, despite the fact that I'm aware of actually like several things that have happened on the Xbox side of things, but I don't actually know details of what's going on with any of them, so...
And I just don't follow.
Yeah,
that
I'm
Xbox
just gonna go ahead and
stuff.
save those for Wes.
That's why I have you guys here, so to talk about gaming, because I don't do that.
Yes, well, as I discovered this past week, we've been doing kind of a lousy job of doing that, anyways, over the past few weeks. So I have a bunch of gaming stuff to talk about today, but obviously, let's not start with that. Let's go ahead and start with some Google news. Landon, take it away.
All right, Google news. So I want to start off with an interesting email that I received from Google. I'm just going to go ahead and read the email. So inside the email, it says, as a thanks for being a loyal Google Store customer and Nexus owner, here's a $200 discount on the Pixel 2 XL. Yeah.
Wow.
It's like,
You know,
okay.
as a loyal customer of the Google Store and a Nexus owner, I happen to know you're releasing a brand new phone in like a month.
I mean, they've already sent out invites to their event. It's not like it's not known. And even if they hadn't sent out invites, we know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to buy the 2. 2.5 weeks before you announce the 3.
Yeah, that's...
Even with a $200 discount, no! No, Google, you should know this. I mean, you set up the algorithm for my Google News feed, and you see that I look at a lot of Pixel 3 stuff.
Yeah.
You should know that I'm not buying a 2. Come on.
Yeah. Well,
I just thought that was funny.
I mean, maybe this is the reassurance that Google is not actually paying as much attention to our personal lives as we think they are sometimes.
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it's like, really, Google? Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's amazing.
You should know better than that.
I love it.
Anyways, so you may have gotten the similar email that I did. I don't know. I haven't heard of anybody else getting it, but I'm sure there's more than just me.
You know what would be amazing is if they sent that email to Wes. Because he has a Pixel 2 XL. So.
Yeah. Well, I've talked to other 2 and 2 XL owners, and they haven't gotten it yet.
Okay. So okay.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Now on to some actual Google news. There's a new thing called Google Play Points. I want to say this was talked about a while ago on Android Police. I think one of their guys found it in a teardown of some app at the Play Store or something. I don't know. But it is now live in Japan. But basically the way this is going to work is every $1 you spend, you get a point, basically.
Nice.
I want to say that's how it works.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I did read about this. I promise you. Let me see. Okay, they've got a little thing on here. It says there's multiple levels of this as well, which I thought was kind of interesting. So there's the bronze level, which you can get up to 249 points, and then once you get above that, you get the silver level. And then at 1,000 points, the gold, 4,000 platinum, and 15,000 is diamond.
Ooh.
And these different levels get you different things. So up at the diamond level, you get 2 points earned for every. They're translation from Japan. It's yen or whatever Japanese money is to dollar is about 90 cents. So I would say $1.
Yeah.
If it comes to the U.S., which I'm assuming it will.
Yeah.
So at the bronze level, it's 1 point earned for every $1. Silver, it's 1.25 for every $1 spent.
Ah, right.
And 1.5 at gold, 1.75 at platinum, and then again 2 at diamond.
Right.
But you have to get up to that 15,000 point level to be able to get 2 points.
Yeah.
So you're spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you're doing that.
Yep.
And the points roll over, although they don't roll over, but you keep the points for a year.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can accumulate a good portion of points if you spend a decent amount of money on the Play Store.
Right. Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you use the points, they don't go away in your buildup of points.
Oh, okay. So you can use the points for purchases
Yes.
and in-app purchases and stuff like that.
And still be building your
And
points level.
Okay.
So
points that you've spent are not going to be available to spend again, but they still count towards your 15,000 points
Right.
for accumulation. So if you have a diamond level and you've got the 15,000 points and you can stay up there, then you're just going to accumulate points twice as fast that you can then spend on apps.
right.
Does spending points get you points?
It doesn't say that. I don't know. I would be surprised if it did.
Yeah, that
don't know.
would be a little weird.
But the point, like we've kind of alluded to, the points are to be used for like in-app purchases in apps. Duh, that was kind of redundant. In-app purchases and Google Play credit and stuff like that.
Right.
I'm assuming that means you can buy movies and
like I'm sure
some music and different things like that. I'd be curious to know if these go towards any sort of subscription that is through the Play Store. Because certain games are on a subscription base.
Yeah.
They're not a one-time purchase. They're like a monthly or yearly type purchase.
Yeah.
And that's through the Play Store or the App Store on iPhone.
Yep.
So I would, that's where this could be a lot more beneficial.
Yeah.
That's how you would rack up more points. If you have an app that is a monthly or even like a magazine. If you have those are generally monthly subscriptions.
Good grief, I'd forgotten magazines existed. That's
kind of.
Wow.
Very vaguely. The e-magazines. But, those are available in the Play Store. So, did those count towards getting points? I'd be curious to know. And if so, if you have those subscriptions and they're monthly, that's like $5, $10 a month.
Yeah.
That's 5 to 10 points a month that you could get.
Yeah.
That's how you could build up these points to get more points.
And I wonder if subscriptions with Google's services would count toward this as well. So, if you were paying for YouTube TV or something like that, does that? Well, no, not YouTube TV.
Yeah, I was going to say YouTube TV, Google Play Music, or YouTube Music, or whatever, the YouTube, all that crap is generally done not through, I don't think any of it's done through the Play Store. I know my YouTube TV subscription is not. That was through... I went to YouTube TV and signed up there. It's
just really interesting, how they have their services divided up. It's not really clear whether or not they'd even be related. Because, if it was something like this in the App Store ecosystem, you could see them saying specifically this applies only to things inside of the App Store. But if they were going to broaden it out to apply also to movies and to music purchases and stuff like that, then that falls under the exact same payment system and payment scheme as the Apple Music subscription. And so does your Apple Music subscription now count toward points and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any kind of crossover between Google services because they are handled very differently than Apple's.
Yeah. I'm interested to see if this gets more people spending money on the Play Store.
Yeah,
because
that's
always been for developers. Yes, Android has the majority market share by a long shot.
Oh, yes.
But the App Store for Apple makes way more money.
Yeah.
And that's been the rule forever.
Yep.
It's interesting that that's the way it is. And granted, part of that has to do with Android being so popular in countries with less money, and on cheaper phones and such. But
there's definitely a demographic to be included there because Apple's phones are just expensive. That's really the only option. And so people who are buying iPhones have money. and they can spend money on frivolous things like apps and stuff like that. And frequently people that have Android phones have them because they're inexpensive.
Right.
And because that's the only thing they can get at their available price point. And so, they don't have money to spend on apps. And so there's definitely a demographic that comes into play there where Apple owns the premium end of the market. And, that means that the people who have their phones can pay for apps, and developers kind of treat the App Store differently as a result as opposed to the Play Store. And I think that part of the fact that so many part of the reason that the Play Store is the way it is because so many phones are cheap, and because developers know that so many people are not paying for money. They're developing free apps that are, cheap and quick and trying to make money via ads or something like that instead.
Right.
And Android users have kind of come to expect that. And so they're less willing, like almost culturally, to pay for apps than Apple phone users because, let's face it, if you own an iPhone, you are no stranger to spending money.
Yeah.
That's just a fact.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm curious to see how this rolls out. I'm assuming that it will come to more places than just Japan, because that would make sense. I'm kind of surprised it didn't come to the U.S.
Yeah.
initially.
It's kind of weird because Japan is one of the few countries where Apple actually has almost the same market share as Android.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's an odd choice, but, whatever.
So, that's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to that. Little bit of Apple news. Apple Music now works on Android Auto.
Yes, I did see that. Actually.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you subscribe to Apple Music and use Android for some odd reason, and you also have, I guess you don't even need to have an Android Auto head unit in your car.
Right. You just
because
need a dash
the Android Auto app works the same way on the phone. So, I mean, that's nice. But if you're in that scenario, the 5 of you out there that do that, there you go. You can now use Android Auto or Apple Music inside of Android Auto, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I can think of one compelling reason to prefer Apple Music subscription over something like Spotify or Google Play or YouTube Music or whatever they're calling that now. And really, it's just due to library size.
Right.
Because Apple Music has the advantage of Apple's existing agreements with music publishers before it was created. And they took that advantage into the fight with them. They have more music than anybody else.
Yeah.
Now, not necessarily more popular music. There's really not that much popular music that is Apple Music's exclusive. Like, if you can listen to it on Apple Music and it's playing on the radio right now, you can also listen to it on Spotify or Google or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you listen to really obscure stuff, then there's a good chance you're going to have a much better selection on Apple Music than, say, Spotify. So, so like you said, 5 people who have made that decision that they really don't want an iPhone because whatever reason, but they really like Apple Music because they also are really big into really obscure classical recordings of Philip Glass or something like that. And you're not going to find that on Spotify because nobody listens to that for good reason. I really don't like Philip Glass. Anyways.
Yeah. So there you go. That's now available. Okay. Away from Google and Apple and on to some Amazon news.
Yes.
Because they had some fun this past couple days announcing a lot of new stuff.
They really did.
Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is an Amazon Basics item. So if you don't know what Amazon Basics is, it's basically Amazon making somewhat more like inexpensive versions of different stuff. They have everything from like cables, like HDMI cables, to microphones, to towels, to all sorts of random crap.
It's the Amazon store brand, basically.
Yes. But they now have a microwave.
Really?
That
did not see that one.
Has Alexa built in.
Oh my gosh. What?
Which, to me, this is one appliance that does never need to be smart.
Right?
Because generally when you're doing something with the microwave, you need to be right there, and it's only for a minute or two.
Yeah, like seriously, nobody puts in like a pot roast into a microwave and is all like, I'm going to cook this 25 or 40 minutes or like that burns out your microwave.
Well, even then, when you put something like, I get an oven because you can on your phone or through a voice assistant say preheat the oven to such and such temperature. And if you're on your way home with something to put in the oven,
you can have convenient. It preheated when you get home.
Yeah, that's convenient.
Yeah.
Or even like a washer and dryer. You can throw the clothes in earlier and say you don't want to do it right now because maybe your kid's asleep and you don't want to wake them up. Or I don't know, something weird. And so you
can set a delay or something like that.
Yeah, you can either set a delay or it's like, oh, crap, I forgot to do that, and do it from your phone or tell Alexa to do that. Or
make sure that you did actually turn the stovetop off by checking your phone. And that kind of thing.
Those type of appliances make sense to have smart features. A microwave, that's weird because one of the things that they talk about is like popcorn. Most microwaves have a popcorn button.
Yes,
and they are generally fairly accurate.
Pretty
if
good.
Not, instead of one button push, you're like 3, so you just hit like 2 minutes. Or even half the time, all you have to do now is push the 2 and it does 2 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the smart thing you do. You hit the 2 and then you stand there and listen for it to stop popping and then you take it out. Because otherwise it's going to burn.
Yeah.
Like, is Alexa going to listen to the microwave as it's popping and like shut the microwave off for you when it gets... Because actually that would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool.
I'll give you that.
It's got the microphones. It could do that.
Alexa, I'm cooking popcorn. And she'd just be like, okay, and then turn on and then just listen and shut off at the right time.
That would be awesome.
There's the justification.
Okay, Amazon, if it does that,
we're good.
You got to pass.
We're good.
Until then, this is stupid. The other thing, it's like, if you don't want to say Alexa, it's got an Ask Alexa button. So, already, you're pushing buttons anyways.
Which means you're standing right next to the microwave, which means you may as well just push the buttons on the microwave and,
Yeah.
That is kind of silly. It would be kind of like having a smart home assistant-enabled toaster.
Right.
It's like it literally has one job.
Mm-hmm.
It toasts bread. It does nothing else. You set a dial that determines how long it's going to be down, and you push a lever. That's it. It kind of feels like that kind of thing. You're going to be standing right next to it. Generally, it only takes a minute or two. There's no reason to have a smart toaster at all. There's no benefit to this whatsoever.
There's no reason to have a smart microwave. But it's Amazon, and they can, so they do.
That's ridiculous. If it could take the food out of your fridge and then put that in the microwave and then turn it on and microwave itself so that you could trigger it from while you're driving home and you can say, in your car, hey Alexa, warm up the Chinese leftovers from last night, and it could talk to your smart home fridge and then open the fridge up and then robotic arms. If it could do that, then that would be dope, but it can't. I'm pretty confident. So, and if it can, then wow, that's like a Terminator, basically.
I don't want one. If it can do that.
Yeah, if it can do that, then it can crawl off of the wall and microwave your head while you're sleeping. So, bad.
Anyways, it's available for pre-order now for $60, which is also, it's not horrible, but I could get a cheaper one for better.
Yeah.
Or that is better,
Yeah, but that's actually a pretty average microwave price.
Yeah.
So,
Anyways, it'll be available on November 14th. So, there you go.
So random.
If you want an Alexa microwave, Amazon has one for you. Okay, moving on to actually somewhat useful things. They also announced what they're calling the Echo Sub.
Is it a subwoofer?
Yep.
Haha.
First off, I want to talk about, they announced Alexa multi-room music. So this is a way to connect multiple Echo or Alexa products together to have multiple, have them all have music at the same time.
Yeah.
That's convenient.
Yes.
And then having this makes that better because none of their products right now have good bass.
Yes, that's true.
The Echo Plus is probably the best one.
Yeah.
But it's still not great because of what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these type of products, none of them have the best. I mean, unless you're spending for the HomePod or the Google Home Max, that are made to have good bass.
Yes.
And I mean, the Echo Plus is that product for you, but still.
Kind of.
Only
kind of. All of the Echo devices, like Google has the cheap version.
Yep.
And the slightly less cheap version, and then the audio version.
Right.
Like, that's basically how they've got it lined up. Apple just has the audio version, and Amazon just has the cheap stuff.
Yes.
That's kind of how it's shaken out up to this point. And you don't buy Alexa-enabled devices directly from Amazon, because there actually are some Alexa-enabled speakers that are pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
They're just not made by Amazon. So you don't buy an Echo because it sounds good. You buy an Echo because it's convenient and it's inexpensive. That's the reason currently that you do that. So, yeah, like being able to actually, like, hey, here's the one that actually has the good audio.
Well, that's the thing. This is just a subwoofer.
It's true. So, does it just connect to an existing Echo, or
it connects like it's a wireless thing. So it's not like you plug an Echo into this and have it connect that way, but it's set up for this Alexa multi-room music.
Right.
So you can put it somewhere where you want that bass to be projecting from.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay. So basically, you could have like 2 Echoes in a room and then one of these subwoofers sitting over in the corner.
Right.
And it would just be like a wireless speaker setup.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's kind of cool. As of right now, we don't know if it has microphones built into it. So it's not an Alexa-enabled device, which makes sense.
Yeah, it would be a little weird
made
just
to be a
standalone subwoofer.
Yeah.
That, like, whenever Alexa talks, just like, it's like, I don't know if you've ever tried to, like, listen to actual music played through just a subwoofer.
It's not good.
There's no definition to it whatsoever.
No.
Those drivers are not designed for definition.
No, they are
hilarious.
They are designed for the low end.
Yes, they move air. That's all they do. Just a lot of air. Yeah, all of
pretty much. So that would make sense that it doesn't have that.
Yes.
So that's. Yeah, it's available for pre-order. It's going to be available to purchase on October 11th, so in just 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's soon.
For $130.
Ooh,
which isn't horrible.
No, it's not terrible.
It better sound good.
Yeah, depending on the audio quality, it's not terrible. But
the problem is, I don't know if it'll work with other speaker devices and whatnot. So if it just works with the Echo or just Alexa-enabled ones, which if you have an Alexa-enabled speaker that already sounds good, don't buy this. But if you just have Echoes, at $130, I can kind of see if you're using those, if you want to use those for music. But but at the same time, like, if you were buying any of these for music, you're not buying the Echoes.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like,
maybe this is just a way to get people to start doing that, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of an odd choice.
It is.
Because, I mean, when you start looking at buying one of these things, and then, I mean, let's be honest, the Echoes are not designed to do the spatial awareness stuff that the Google Home Max and the HomePod do.
Right.
So in order to get actual, like, stereo sounding sound out of them, you have to buy 2.
Yeah, and if you're doing that, I mean, you can buy. Okay, worst case scenario, you buy 2 or 3 Echo Dots for $30-$40 a piece on sale. That's a good deal. And then you buy this for $130. That's like under $300.
Yeah,
and you're getting
around $200.
Decent. I say decent because the speakers in those Echo Dots are going to be more tinny than even if you get just the regular Echo.
Yes. And that's kind of what I would, if you have a couple of Echoes, like the stand, the big Pringles cans, then like you got a couple of those mixed with the subwoofer. The speakers in those are not designed for music. They really aren't, despite the fact that from the very early days, Amazon was advertising these things as playing music. It's like, yeah, sure, they can. They don't sound awful. But those speakers are designed for voice. They're designed for Alexa. And so playing music over them is going to be okay. When you pair them with the subwoofer, actually get some low end there,
it'll sound
all right.
Yeah.
But once you've paired the $130 subwoofer in with a couple of what are the Echoes now, like $50 or
I don't know.
Something like that. You are looking at over $200. And at that point, I'd kind of just be like, wow, maybe you ought to be looking at a Sonos. Like, just one. Cause
especially, like, if you have to stay... If you want to keep the Amazon... If you want Alexa and all that stuff, yeah. Look at JBL. Look at Sonos.
Yeah.
Look at these other companies that are speaker companies.
Yes.
They've been in the market or in the business for a while now.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Yep. They know
all they
how
have
to
to do
balance
is
an audio
enable
device.
it for smart features.
Yep.
So,
yep.
I don't know. It's an interesting play. I kind of get it, but whatever. Okay. The next thing that they announced that I wanted to talk about is the Echo Link and Echo Link Amp. So what these are, I'm just going to read. This is from an article on AndroidPolice.com. It says, the Echo Link is meant to plug into your existing hardware. In this case, it supports a handful of inputs and outputs to integrate with your home receiver system. The Echo Link Amp is pretty much the same thing, but as the name suggests, with its own built-in 60-watt 2-channel amplifier. So, a little bit better.
Nice.
Okay, they both share a handful of analog, optical, coax, 3.5 millimeter headphone, and subwoofer outputs, as well as analog, optical, and coax inputs. So
nice.
These are meant to be used with probably your already fancy stereo system that you have, and it just kind of it makes it so you can. These are not Alexa enabled, I don't believe, but they connect to Echoes that you might have.
Right.
So this is kind of an easier way to connect an Echo to your nice stereo system to say, Alexa, play such and such on Spotify or whatever, and it'll play over your nice stereo system.
Right. Yep. And I would assume it would also allow you some kind of basic control over the audio on these devices. You know, so you could hook it up to your home theater system, and then you'd be able to have some basic control over your home theater system via voice control through Alexa. And, you know, that makes some sense. Because a lot of people, and I'm in this boat, I have a nice 7.2 surround sound amplifier.
Right.
I have all the speakers. I have enough powered subwoofers to, like, blow up a small house. And I'm not going to replace that with a quote-unquote smart home enabled, amp, because that's just expensive. Like, holy crap.
Right.
It was expensive to get the setup I've got now. I'm not doing that again, you know?
Yeah. Speaking of price, the Echo Link is going to be $200 and the Link Amp is going to be $300. And they will be shipping later this year for the Link and early 2019 for the Amp.
Nice.
So...
Yeah. And I know somebody listening just heard those prices and went, well, dude, you should just upgrade to a new amp. And I'm like, no, because a good quality amp costs like $600 to $700.
Yeah.
So being able to smart home enable my existing hardware via a $200 purchase, significantly cheaper than just replacing the thing. And since audio devices like home audio, especially stereo systems, are really nice, they're designed to last for a very long time.
Yeah.
Like, I could go grab my dad's old Kenwood stereo amplifier. It's, I want to say, 120-watt 2-channel stereo amplifier. And that thing has some of the best sound I have ever heard. You pair that up to a couple of big speakers, because, I mean, it is legitimately like 70 watts per channel. It's beefy. And, that thing's great. Mm-hmm. Audio devices are designed to last forever. So, I appreciate that Amazon is looking at that and going, yeah, let's just make it so that you can add some of these features to what you've already got.
Yeah. And if you're wanting to add these features on the cheaper end, they also have the Echo Input.
Hey!
And this one, again, reading from Android Police, says the company is also introducing a new device for separate standalone speakers, giving them the same Alexa-powered functionality. The $35 Echo Input adds Amazon's voice-controlled assistant to other external speakers via Bluetooth or 3.5mm audio jack.
Nice.
Sort of like a Chromecast audio, but for Alexa.
Right.
Which...
yeah.
It's about freaking time.
Yeah. So you just jack that into the back of my dad's old Kenwood speakers or amp, and there you go.
Yeah.
Done.
And for $35, that's the way to go
Nice.
for if you want that functionality.
Yep. So yeah, upgrading your existing in-home stereo system, like, that's awesome.
Yeah. They don't have a date on this. It just says later this year, but $35,
yeah,
that's not a bad deal.
Yep.
Another thing to add to the Y category, the Echo wall clock.
What?
Yeah.
Could you not just get the one that had a screen built into it and hang it from a wall?
Well, there's that.
Just saying.
It's a clock.
It's a clock.
And
like an analog clock.
Like an analog clock.
Does it have a screen on it, or is it just...
It does have a screen, kind of. So, like, the way that it appears to function is basically just to be able to show a timer that you've set on a dot or an Echo or whatever. So if you don't have the Echo show and you want to spend around $30 or so for this...
Just to visualize a timer.
Just to have a visualized timer.
What the heck? As opposed to just saying, hey, how much time do I have on my timer?
Yeah.
And it'll tell you.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
I mean, it's not a bad-looking clock. Yeah, it's just a black face with white numbers and hands, and then the second, like the minute lines appear or disappear depending on how much time you have left. But, why?
That's weird.
It's very weird.
That's a weird thing, Amazon.
But, whatever. Okay, and then the next thing is the Amazon Smart Plug, which I'm kind of surprised they didn't have this before.
Yeah.
Considering it's Amazon and they can, do stuff like this. I'm just going to, again, read from Android Police. It says, the simplest and cheapest of Amazon's new hardware is the Amazon Smart Plug. It's the first device to feature Amazon's new Wi-Fi Simple setup, which automatically connects new devices based on presumably account-associated saved credentials, which is kind of... So if you already are in the Amazon ecosystem, this will just work, which is nice.
Yep.
With the Amazon Smart Plug, you can turn your pedestrian non-smart gadgets into Alexa-controlled hardware, giving your antique lamps voice-controlled convenience and making your morning coffee a lazy affair. Which is, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
They are $25, so that's not bad.
No,
You could get a couple of them and, make other things smart, I guess.
Yep.
They're going to be available also on October 11th.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
No, that's good. Like, I like I'm a big fan of the smart gadgets that, like, slot in between non-smart electronics and their source of electricity, because that applies to lights. It applies to so many, like, different things that we plug in. It's literally just power.
Yeah.
And you can set it up such that when it's turned on, it's doing what you want it to do and done. And then all you need to voice control the thing is just a smart outlet.
Yeah.
And
there are other options that, like, other companies that make these.
Yes.
Because, like, my sister, she has a Google Home and a Home Mini, and then a few of these smart plugs that work with either Google Assistant or Alexa. I mean, that's the other benefit. Most of them work with either. And they're awfully convenient because she can just say, hey, so-and-so, turn on the lights or, whatever. And it just works.
Yep.
And it's pretty cool.
Yep.
And so, like, this is just Amazon's offering of that. And it obviously is going to only work with Alexa. But, if you're in that ecosystem...
It is one of the cheaper ones that I've heard of, though.
Yeah, for $25.
Yeah, that's not bad. And, if you've already got a bunch of Echo devices, then sure.
Why not?
It kind of seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I agree. So, good on Amazon for that one.
Cool.
Okay, more stuff that they announced. They announced the Echo Auto. So if you've been craving to have Alexa in your car, here you go. Right now it's invite only, and it's $25, which is interesting that it's invite only, but
yeah, that
whatever.
Is a little weird.
The way this works is it will connect to your car via Bluetooth, or it also has a 3.5 millimeter audio jack, so auxiliary input. You power it via the 12-volt cigarette lighter socket or USB.
Right.
If your car has that.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. So it's just a way to have Alexa in your car, so you can just talk to your car via Alexa to start playing music or different things like that. Make phone calls. But at the same time, it's like every phone out there already has the Google Assistant or Siri built in with voice-enabled options, especially made for driving your car. Like these devices you can have set up that when you start moving in your car, they automatically go into these modes for you. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it. If you are in this ecosystem very heavily, that's good what I'm going to say. If you are heavily into Amazon's ecosystem with a lot of Echoes and such, that's the target market for this.
Yeah.
Because even if you are only lightly into that ecosystem, I don't see this being that big of a deal.
Well, yeah, especially since in order to do anything, it would have to connect to your phone.
Right.
Like, it's going to be connecting to your phone and then using your phone to stream music or do whatever.
Yeah.
So it's basically like using Alexa to voice control the stuff on your phone instead of just using your phone to voice control the stuff on your phone, which might actually make a lot of sense if you have an iPhone but you don't use any of Apple's services and you would rather, if you want to use voice control to activate Google Maps on your phone or Spotify on your phone, Siri won't do that, won't do most of that for you. If you ask for directions, Siri's going to give you Apple Maps. If you ask for music, Siri's going to try and pull up Apple Music. So if that's where you're sitting, then I can see this kind of thing being actually pretty nice. But
yeah, so like
otherwise,
if I were to buy an iPhone and I did stuff like this in my car, maybe. But even then, maybe. I don't have any other Amazon Echo devices.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
So I don't know.
It's kind of funny. It's actually sitting in the place where my my ghetto Bluetooth solution for my car was, which is basically I'm powering a Bluetooth adapter off of the 12-volt outlet in my car and then plugging that into the auxiliary jack. And that's kind of what this sounds like it is. It's just doing that, except it's adding voice control instead of just Bluetooth.
Right.
But yeah, that's a little weird.
Yeah, it's a very niche market for this type of product. But, you know, it's there now.
Which is just, Amazon does that. Like a lot. It's all like, here's a product that only makes sense for a tiny fraction of our consumer base. We're selling it at cost.
Like
Why are we doing this? We don't know. But we're worth $1 trillion now, so, you know, don't argue.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're the one that's buying the microwave, you might be buying this as well.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't put the microwave in your car. Although they have adapters for that, so maybe. Oh
my gosh,
if you get the microwave to play like countdown music, like if you say you get like 15 seconds left and it starts playing, it's the final countdown. That would be amazing.
It would be great if it played just the last 15 seconds of the chorus of It's the Final Count. How long is that chorus? Maybe that chorus is only 15 seconds.
It's around there, probably.
If you could get that to line up perfectly, that would be
amazing.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yep.
Instead of beeping at you, your microwave plays the final countdown.
Okay. Amazon, get on this,
I'm fully
please.
on board with the microwave. If it can do that and the popcorn thing, I'm spending $60 for this microwave.
Yep. And $30 for a dot just because.
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing I want to talk about that they announced. Well, okay. First, they announced an updated dot that actually looks better. It's more rounded.
Looks a little bit more like the Google Home Mini.
Yes, very much so. It's like if a Google Home Mini and a previous Echo Dot had a baby.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, it's exactly it.
With Alexa. So, you know, there's that.
She's got her mother's voice.
It's unfortunate. Well, Google Assistant is also
you're right.
female.
That is also the default voice is
the default
female.
voice is female, but they do have male voices.
Yeah, I don't really.
We don't need to get into
Electronics aren't gendered. We'll just whatever.
Yeah. Anyways, they also announced a new Echo Plus and a new Echo Show. The new Echo Show has a bigger screen because they took the speaker that took up most of the front and took it away from the front. I don't know what. Well, from as much. Anyways, bigger screen. This is fun. Okay. The thing I actually want to talk about, though, they have what's called the Fire TV Recast. This is actually kind of interesting. What it is an over-the-air DVR box.
Ah.
So this obviously is going to require other hardware.
Right.
It does not have Alexa built in, I don't believe. So if you want to fully take advantage of some features, not all, just some, like voice commands, obviously.
Right.
You're going to want either like the Fire TV app. That I don't know if you do voice commands with that, but that's how you control it, or via an Echo with Alexa and such. What this does is kind of how it's described with the over-the-air DVR is you plug in your antenna, your over-the-air TV antenna, to this, and then it can record these over-the-air channels for you. They have two versions of it. They have a $230 500 gig with two HD TV tuners for $230. That one with the two HD TV I can speak tuners. That'll allow you to record a show and watch something, or record two at the same time.
Right.
And at 500 gigs of space, that's a decent amount.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good.
They also have another one that's $270 with double the storage and double the tuners.
Dad.
So for $40 more, buy that one.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, oh gosh, would you be able to plug one antenna into that 4 times, or would you need 4 antennas? You'd probably need 4 antennas. My understanding the way those signals work.
Well, I don't know.
I do. Well, actually, no. You can split those signals if you've got a dedicated
I
splitter.
have one antenna, and I have it on 2 TVs.
Yeah.
With a splitter.
And you just run it through a coax splitter. So,
they can each watch their own thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, because, those antennas get all the signals all at the same time. Like, they're constantly there.
Yeah.
The tuner is what you use to pick one out. So, if you've got 4 tuners, you just need to get a 4-way splitter and plug it into this thing. You can plug one antenna into 4 tuners, and you can watch 4 different shows at the same time. That is dope.
With a terabyte of storage.
Yeah, that's great. Does it have the ability to plug in external drives so that you can expand that storage potentially in the future?
Not that I saw. I doubt that.
Yeah, that would be too good to be true, I think.
But, at a terabyte...
Yeah, a terabyte lasts for a long time.
Most of the time, you're not generally keeping shows that you watch. Unless you're trying to record a whole series just to have.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
But there's also no output on this thing. So, like, the way you watch, this is where other hardware comes in. The way you watch these shows is either on your phone, which if you're on your... They did mention it on your phone. You can watch live TV on your phone, which is kind of nice.
Nice. Yeah, that is good.
Also, you would, if you want to watch on your TV, you either have to be able to have a Fire TV stick or something like that plugged into your TV to watch these shows.
Right.
So, this is not a standalone device.
No.
You would need other hardware from Amazon to make it work.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad product.
No, and that's actually a pretty good price, because, anybody who's really wanted to do that kind of thing, and I have looked into it before, because, I'm definitely interested in some of this stuff. In order to get that to work, like previously, has required either quite a lot of very expensive hardware or a PC that is also very expensive and has a dedicated tuner card in it, and then obviously the internal storage of the PC, and you play it through that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's definitely something to be said about that. So
$230 for the 500 gig 2 tuner,
$270
and $270 for the terabyte 4 tuner.
That honestly might be the best price for those features. Like, for having 4 tuners and a terabyte of built-in storage and all the DVR functionality, like, that might be the best price you're going to get for that hardware.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And a nice thing about it, like I said, if you have like an Echo Dot or an Echo or something like that, you can just say, "Hey Alexa, record this show," and the next time it's on, it'll start recording.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That is fantastic.
So there's like minimal setup to that, obviously.
Yeah. Yep.
And you don't even have to go into an app or onto the TV or anything like that to set up to record.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah. I wonder if there's probably not going to be any officially supported way to save stuff on the DVR to something else. But
that would be nice.
But
because combine this with like a Plex server.
Yeah.
Dude.
I was just going to say, if it's going to connect to your TV via HDMI at some point.
Right.
And I just so happen to know a couple of different ways that you can hijack that signal in the middle and record it.
It would have to be via like I said, a Fire TV stick.
Yes. Yep. Yep, and I'm sure that there's HDCP involved there, but if you run that through an HDMI splitter that strips the HDCP signal out of it and then run it through a recorder box, you can record it and watch it on TV at the same time.
Yeah.
So if there's anything, if you really do want to record a whole season of something and have commercials in it, because yay, live TV, then that's a very doable thing and can be done for the addition of like $50 worth of hardware on top of the price of this thing. So that's interesting. I'm gonna have to, because I know there is hardware out there that is kind of intended to be like this. That's a self-contained little
right. I mean, isn't that what TiVo is?
TiVos can be used that way. They're kind of designed more to integrate with the cable and satellite companies.
Okay.
So they're more designed for that signal as opposed to a live TV signal. But I think they can, ever since the switch from analog to digital signal with over-the-air TV.
Right.
It probably, TiVo's probably
I know
can do
I
that.
looked into this a while ago. Like, this has been a few years, and there are other options.
Yeah, but I
and
remember
there are
them all
relatively
being rather expensive.
Well, there are some cheaper options, but they're not great.
Yeah.
And there are even like on quote-unquote cloud DVR for over-the-air channels. They're not great either.
No.
And a lot of these are subscription-based type things too,
Yes.
so it's not just a one-and-done purchase like this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a good product. I'm glad Amazon is making something like this.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm
if
just
you're
really
in the ecosystem.
curious, like if there's other things out there that, because it's been a few years since I've checked as well, and so
Right.
now I'm wondering if this is like going to spur competition that isn't there, or if this is a response to other companies that actually have been developing products like this, and I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, there's a lot of like this is made for cord cutters, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And there are other cord cutting options that are kind of cord. I mean, I use YouTube TV. There's Sling. There's DirecTV Now. There's different options like that.
Yeah.
But if you really don't want to be paying for TV, and you want that DVR functionality, because I mean, obviously you can throw an antenna and hook it up to your TV, and you have free light TV.
You're not paying for that.
You're not paying for that. This is just a way to be able to record that.
Yeah. And I think so many people forget that like live TV, like over-the-air TV is actually really good.
Yeah, I mean, you get ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox. You get those channels.
Yeah.
That's the main channels.
Yeah.
You don't aren't going to get most of your sports channels. Duh.
Well, right. But you do get the big sports stuff because they play on the main channels. And they have, like, so when they made the switch from analog to digital signal a couple, 10 years ago or whenever that was, basically every single channel got subdivided into 3 channels. Yeah. So the signal is divided up that way, and now like NBC has two other channels that they had to fill, and they put sports on one of them. It's not the full NBC sports experience. Right. It's highlights, it's the high points, but it's there. And a lot of people don't realize how much of the content they are paying for with DirecTV and whatever is available. Like my in-laws, oh my gosh. There was one point where I was talking to them about their DirecTV subscription, and they were telling me it's the stuff that they watched most frequently, and I was like, you guys could watch that with an antenna in HD. Like,
yeah.
Okay. You're spending $120 a month to watch TV that you could be getting for free. But okay.
Well, and it's also funny, like the people that buy Comcast internet that get the free Comcast TV with it just because they pay enough for internet.
Right. Yeah.
It's not HD.
It's not HD.
And it's less channels than you get.
Yes, it totally is.
With an antenna.
Yep. It's the dumbest thing.
And I mean, it's kind of one of those things that's just thrown in. You're not paying extra for that TV, but why use it?
Yeah, don't. No, go buy a one-time purchase of a decent panel antenna and stick that next to your TV and hope you don't live in a basement or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's good. That's good times. The whole live TV versus Comcast and satellite and stuff like that. I have opinions.
Yeah. So that's all my news for this week.
Good stuff. Well, we're going to move on to some Microsoft. No, I'm just kidding.
Microsoft has done stuff that
probably we don't know about it. Okay, Apple has done some stuff. First of all, XS and XS Max. Yep, those are out now.
Yes, in store as of the recording today.
Yes, they and lines have opened up. There's been some logistical issues with phones getting delivered. Like, not that they were delivered late, they were delivered on time, but they were marked as that they were being delivered late. And many consumers were like, why is my phone not coming until next Monday when you said it was supposed to be coming on Friday? And then Apple's all like, sorry, that was just like software got screwed up. So it's coming today. Like, you will get it today. So there's been some weirdness there, and some weirdness with their like walk-in reservation system at their stores that was like telling people that there were no phones to be reserved. And so like, you know, oh, sorry, your walk-in isn't going to work. Huh. And basically what has been happening is Apple employees are just like, just cancel your reservation and buy this phone that I'm holding right here. That Pretty is much. Available for, like, here you go.
Yeah.
So there's been some weirdness going on there. But as far as I'm aware, everybody that has wanted to get their hands on a phone today has. There's just been some confusing logistics in the process.
It makes sense that anybody that's wanted one will get one because they cost a lot of money.
Yes, yeah. Apple is usually pretty good with...
And I'm willing to bet that most people are waiting for the XR.
Yes. Well, so that's actually like one of the first things that came after Apple's, like, the very beginning of this past week, after we recorded last week. Ming-Chi Kuo, who we all know is the god of Apple rumors.
Yes.
He released a report suggesting that demand for the XS, in particular, was going to be quite low. Much lower than a lot of people were expecting it to be. Customers in Asia, he was positing, are going to be going for the XS Max. A lot of them in China, primarily China and India, primarily because the support for 2 physical SIM cards.
Right.
That you only get with the one particular model of the XS Max in Asia. So that was, you know, he's saying that's going to be a popular model in Asia, and the bigger screen, obviously. Like, that's a big spec thing to brag about.
They're spec hunters.
It is the biggest screen that you can get on a mainstream smartphone right now. So, you know, fair enough. And then he suggested that customers elsewhere were likely going to be waiting for the XR.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the way that it's shaping up so far, especially if you actually start looking at the orders. The XS Max actually is at least as popular as the cheaper XS. And they're both selling quite well. Like, again, it was, you know, like you'd expect. Pre-orders went live last week. And within a couple of minutes of going live, they were already pushed out a couple of weeks. You know, like, that's just how we expect it. A few hours into the day, you were going to be waiting 3 weeks to get a phone. And that's okay. That's pretty standard. Orders have not gone past that since then. We've kind of capped out. It's like, I think, a 3-week wait period at this time. But now that orders have started getting fulfilled, and now that people that did pre-order and were going to be waiting for 3 weeks went and waited in line in an Apple store instead,
got one,
and they canceled their pre-order, that's actually going to come down a little bit, I expect. So, you know, there's been a lot of that kind of thing happening. So we kind of hit the max. Like, this is, oh my gosh, I can't use that word. What?
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Okay, now we've hit the breaking, tipping, the top of the tippy
we've
top.
Plateaued.
Yes, we've plateaued on the orders for the XS and the XS Max at this point. And we're kind of just waiting until, you know, next month when we can look at what the pre-orders for the XR are going to look like. I will not be pre-ordering this phone.
You never pre-order phones.
Don't pre-order. Don't pay money for a promise. I will be talking about that later today.
Which I am going to be doing.
Yeah. Landon is one of those as I say, not as I do kind of.
I don't generally say don't pre-order. I get why not to. There are reasons.
Good reasons.
The thing that pushed me over the edge 2 years ago with the Pixel
was the Daydream View.
The free Daydream View headset. Yeah. I was like, oh.
And that's fair.
I want one. I'm not going to spend $80 on one, but I can get one for free? Okay.
Yeah. And honestly, when you have stuff like that, that's cool.
You don't get that with Apple.
Apple does not do that.
No.
So if they're not throwing in some kind of perk for pre-ordering, like...
If you're going to pre-order an iPhone, do it at Best Buy.
Yeah.
Or somewhere like that.
They give you Best Buy credit.
They generally will give you something.
Yes. Yep. And like, what was it, the G5 or the G6, the LG G6, where it was like if you pre-ordered the thing, they gave you a free something.
I know the Galaxy Note 9, Best Buy gave you, well, Samsung, for that matter, gave you some headphones.
Yeah.
Or
Yep.
Fortnite credit.
Yep.
Or both for $100 more. And Best Buy, on top of those things, gave you like $100 or $150 Best Buy credit.
Well, I'm just trying to think, because it was one of LG's phones that if you pre-ordered it, you got like a free Google Home or something like that. And
Yes,
then,
it was the G5.
if you pre-ordered it from Sprint, you got a free Google Home from LG and then a free TV from Sprint.
Yes.
And it's like, so if there's stuff like that, then okay, pre-orders are fine.
Right.
But don't just pre-order a product itself, by itself, on a promise. Don't trust companies like that. Unless, so like in the case of like video games, for instance, if you've played an open beta and you know that the game is already fun and you're going to enjoy it, then okay, cool, pre-order, whatever. But like if it's hardware in particular and it hasn't gone out to reviewers and we don't actually know how it's performing and stuff like that, don't pre-order. Anyways, that I will actually rant about that a little bit later. But yeah, so I'm not going to pre-order the XR because, you know, I don't really have any need for it. But
When do pre-orders for that go live?
Oh, October, that's a Friday. My gosh. I want to say the 17th, but I think I might, no, 14th? No, 17th. 12th. 19th. Dang it. It's the 12th or the 19th. I can't remember, but it's a Friday. And I want to say it's the 19th, and then they ship on the 26th.
Okay, so that's going to be very similar time frame to the Pixel 3.
Yes.
Because with the announcement being on the 9th, I would assume pre-orders for that will go live either that day or that week. Generally, they go live the day of the announcement for Pixels.
Yes.
And then they ship out a week or two after that. So it'll be similar to that.
Yeah, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if there's not really any competition there. Everybody who's all like, wow, this Android phone is really going to destroy the iPhone. And I'm like, Android phones tend to compete with each other, not very much the iPhone. Like, really?
The Android phone that competes the most in sales is Samsung.
Right. But if Samsung is going to be stealing phone sales from another vendor, it's going to be another Android vendor, more than likely.
Most of the time.
Like, and it's like, honestly, if iPhone is going to be stealing sales from anybody, it's going to be from themselves. Like, the XR is not going to steal Pixel sales. It won't. It will steal XS sales. That's what it'll steal. And I suspect it's actually what it's going to do is encourage a whole lot of people that are sitting on iPhone 7s and 6Ss and 6s to actually upgrade finally. But that's what it's doing for me. But yeah, so be interesting to see how that shakes out next month. Another report that this did not come from Quo, but I can't remember. Oh, gosh, who did this come from? I can't remember. It was about the Airpower, though. And I wanted to talk about that just real quick. It was a very technical report and basically said that unless Apple can resolve multiple engineering issues that they're having with this thing right now, this product is doomed to never launch.
Yeah, I think it was one of those kind of like, if anybody's going to do it, it's Apple type of products because of the way they talked about it. Because it's supposed to be one of those, you can charge up to 3 devices on it, and they can be placed anywhere and just work.
Yep. And it's supposed to be smart about how it's charging them.
Right.
Meaning that if you drop AirPods, an Apple Watch, and an iPhone onto it, it'll charge all 3, and it's going to tell the iPhone what the charge level of the other 2 devices is, so that you can tap on your phone and you'll be able to see 3 charge levels for each of those devices, and you'll know where they're at. So they had pie in the sky dreams for this thing, but apparently they're having issues with heat management because 3 charging coils, holy crap, and buggy communication between the charging mat and the devices that are sitting in the middle of a gigantic electromagnetic field from the 3 charging coils.
Right.
Which, you know, that's difficult. And mechanical and other interference issues with the charging itself, the charging coils themselves causing interference with each other.
Right.
So kind of like big deal, massive deal breaker kind of issues.
Yeah.
that make the thing totally not work at all.
Yeah. The way they should have gone about a multi-device charging pad is separate coils that don't talk to each other, that you have to place the device on those coils, and that it also doesn't talk to your device. It just charges, that's it. And do 2, not 3, just do 2. Most people are only going to need 2.
Yep.
If that.
And, I mean, you can get those. Right. Like, there's already Qi chargers out there that'll charge, that have 2 coils in them, that are just coils. They're separated by enough that they don't cause charging, excuse me, they don't cause charging interference with each other.
Right.
And, that's fine. Like, that works.
And I'm just going to, I've said this in the past, I'm going to go out and say it again. I mean, there are good brands out there, but, like, Anker is a decent brand, but I'm going to just go ahead and say Samsung.
Yeah.
They've been doing it for a while. They're doing it right. They're doing it well. I mean, you can get one that has a fan built in to control the temperature.
Yeah.
That's going to be more expensive.
Yes.
But it's probably your best bet. And it also
especially if you want the fast charging.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to have the fast charging, and that's, I mean, for me, a wireless charging pad is going to be something that I use at night most of the time. Because if I want the really fast charging, obviously a cord is the best option.
Right.
And for all that, the heat management and the actual fast charging and stuff like that. But, and again, for me, I don't work at a desk. That would be a nice place to have one.
Yeah.
Either at home by your bed or at a desk. Those are the main places.
And I think that is the argument in favor of wireless charging that I've heard that I really like is regarding device health or battery health on your devices. Because, I can go into my settings and I can look at the battery health of my 2-year-old iPhone 7 Plus. And the battery in this thing reports itself at being about 87% health, which is actually pretty darn good for 2-year-old phones. A lot of phones after 2 years are down in the 70s in terms of health. And you start getting into 3 or 4 years, you're down about half your battery health. And what that means, for all intents and purposes, is you get half the battery life out of your device. And so those are the ones that you find yourself, you get to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you have to plug your phone in. Otherwise, it's going to die. And the argument there is that, I mean, if you look at electric cars and hybrid cars, they do this. When you're driving a Toyota Prius, there's a little battery gauge on it that shows you how much charge you have in your battery, and you can watch it discharge and charge as you're driving and that kind of thing. And you look at it and you're always like, the battery in this thing is tiny. It just doesn't actually, it's not. What you're seeing represented there is about 20% of the actual capacity of the battery. It does not charge all of the way, and it never discharges more than 50%. And they do that because they know that batteries lose their ability to hold charge over time. That allows them to keep 20% available for much, much longer. And if you keep your battery inside of that perfect little zone right there, that just prolongs the life of the battery by a lot. By really a lot. That's why you can have Toyota Priuses that have been on the road for 10 years and have never had their battery replaced. Otherwise, if they used it, if Toyota allowed you to use that battery the same way that you use your smartphone battery, discharge it all the way and then charge it all the way back up and so on and so forth, it would last 3 years. And then you'd have to buy a new $10,000 battery. Which, it's ridiculous they cost that much, but holy crap. And Tesla does the exact same thing. They just have a lot more batteries than a Prius does, but it's the same kind of thing. They're really only letting you have maybe 30 to 40% of your actual battery pack available just to try and prolong the health of the batteries. So the argument with wireless chargers is if you have a wireless charger convenient everywhere, on your desk at work, in your kitchen at home, next to your bed and stuff like that, and you don't charge your phone overnight, you just slap it on a charger wherever it's convenient to do so and try and keep it between about 60% and 90% battery charge all the time, that's going to make your battery last a lot longer. And to that end, having something that can charge 3 devices at the same time, that'd be pretty flipping awesome. Especially if you could sit there and be like, oh, my AirPods that have tiny, tiny batteries in them and that are going to die really fast, and that don't have replaceable batteries. You can't replace the batteries in those things. And so being able to know by tapping on your phone that the batteries in these AirPods that are sitting on the chargers is at 92% right now. It's like, oh, it's time to take that off, and there's a lot of good advantages to that kind of thing. If anybody can pull it off, I think Apple would be able to pull it off. They're a hardware company. They do really good engineering,
and I'm willing to bet Samsung's probably working on something like this.
I'm sure they are, but
they're the other company that could do it.
I'd be willing to bet that Apple will beat them to the punch because Samsung is really good at perfecting hardware that other people generate.
Yeah, that's true.
Has been, like stuff that they're first to the plate with. It's always like,
Well, I mean, you take the smartphone, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, the iPhone initially was excellent, always has been. Samsung's phones were okay. Mm-hmm. I had a Galaxy S2. It was okay. Wasn't great, mostly because the software was awful.
Yeah.
The phone itself was pretty good.
Yep.
But, I mean, you look at them now. Their phones, hardware-wise, are fantastic.
They're great.
They're excellent phones.
Yep. Well, and the smartwatch is another place. I feel like Samsung's watches are like, they're great now. Like, they're fantastic. You go back and look at early Samsung smartwatches before, I hate to say it, but before the Apple Watch came out.
Right.
Like, they had no idea what they were doing with that thing. They just had no clue. It was a thing on your wrist, but like, was it useful? Not, I mean, kind of in some ways, but it was also like super obnoxious in others and kind of creepy in some other ways. The camera, like I still have the whole, like the dude like following a girl around a ski resort who's like there with another guy filming her the whole time and then like makes a little video on his watch and shows it to her. It's all like, wow, you're creepy. She would not sit on the ski lift with you. She would pepper spray you in the face and then report you to the authorities. Like, that's terrifying.
Yeah, that was a dumb thing. And it had a camera and a home button.
Yes. It was
on a watch. And it was huge.
Yes. But now they've kind of figured out a little bit better direction and been shown a little bit better direction by other companies.
Yeah.
And they make great watches.
Yep.
And, I feel like it's kind of been that way for a lot of their stuff. Like the facial recognition on their phones. They were the first to the plate with real facial recognition, quote unquote, and iris scanning on their devices. But as a viable form of biometric unlock, not that great. And I suspect that now that Face ID has been out for a year, we don't have long to wait before Samsung gets it right.
Right.
And, so I think
it's the same thing with the fingerprint sensor.
Yes.
They had a swipe fingerprint sensor that was sketchy at best.
Yep.
And
then the 5S came out.
Yep.
And they
got a lot better.
That's how you're supposed to do that. And they did. And now it's great. And it's, nothing personal, Samsung, but they are good at knowing when something else is good and then doing that thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's similar to how Apple has done things over the years.
That's true.
Samsung just does it wrong
They do it wrong first.
instead of waiting and doing it right.
Yes.
Whereas Apple, they may be late to the game in some senses. They weren't the first smartphone. They weren't the first MP3 player. They weren't the first, portable personal computer.
Yeah. They weren't even the first computer that had a GUI. Everyone wants to say that, but they totally weren't.
No. But when they did it, they generally did it right.
Right.
Or at least way better than most other competitors.
Yeah. They weren't the first tablet computer. They weren't the first all-in-one computer. They weren't the first laptop, but they did all of those things right. It was the first time. Yeah. That really is how Apple has always operated, is late to the game, but best when they get there.
Yeah.
Whereas Samsung is frequently first to the game, and then the first couple iterations are kind of terrible, and then they figure it out over time.
Right.
And, it's working all right for them, so I'm not going to throw shade.
They're
massively profitable. That's cool. They're like one of the only Android OEMs that is massively profitable. So, obviously do what works, but it's just important to keep in mind. I think that the wireless charging stuff that Samsung has released is really good, but I think there's a lot of room for improvement in that space.
Yeah.
And I don't think that improvement is necessarily going to come from Samsung, just based on historical trends. Anyways, that's all about the Airpower I wanted to say. 3D Touch is a thing that still exists on iPhones, even though the fact that it's been removed from the iPhone XR and they're kind of doing stuff to get around it.
Just so weird.
It is a little strange.
It doesn't make any sense why they would take that out.
It actually kind of suggests to me that 3D Touch might be going away.
But it makes sense because most of 3D Touch is very gimmicky.
Yeah.
Like that's like when it was first announced, there are cool features to it and there are definite use cases for it.
Yeah.
But most of it, and this is what I thought when it was announced, is gimmicky. And I thought, I get it, but
and the thing of it is like 3D Touch 3D Touch has some really useful features, but when they released it, the version of iOS that first supported 3D Touch also supported most of those features for non-3D Touch phones, just via variations of long presses and stuff like that. And it didn't work quite as well as 3D Touch. It didn't feel quite as natural as 3D Touch, but all of those same features were available.
Right.
And the one that concerns me that I'm going to be losing is the navigation via the cursor in text via 3D Touch on the keyboard. But I have heard that they're supposed to be fixing that so that it will work on non-3D Touch devices as well. Obviously, I'm going to be getting an iPhone XR because it's better to have that phone than it is to have 3D Touch.
Right.
So, but I think that 3D Touch's days are numbered. That being said, it's still here for now. And unfortunately, 3D Touch is one of the reasons why it takes so flipping long to get screen repairs from Apple.
Right.
Because in order to take the screen off of your phone, put a new screen on, and then get everything working correctly, they have to calibrate a bunch of stuff. Now, the color calibration of the screen and the capacitive touch calibration of the screen can all be done, has always been able to be done via software, which means that pretty much anybody can do it as long as they have access to Apple's certified repair shop software.
Right.
But 3D Touch required a box. You had to put it into a box. It had to touch the screen and do stuff to it. And that thing was expensive and made it and was outside of Apple stores was not readily available, which meant that if you went to a third-party Apple reseller, even if they were a certified, like, top of the line retail or a repair shop, like our local Apple retailer is, they still had to take the phone and send it away for like a week in order to get your screen replaced. And that was kind of super obnoxious, but 3D Touch calibration can now be done via software, which means that over time, that screen replacement functionality is going to expand to hopefully include all Apple-authorized service shops. And that means that, you won't have to... they'll be able to do it overnight or, a couple of days kind of thing. So, I thought that was kind of nice. And another little thing that is just kind of a hint that 3D Touch might not be around for that much longer.
Yeah.
And that's all the Apple news that I had. Okay. I do have gaming news, as I suggested earlier.
It's good that you do, because I don't.
I've been kind of neglecting a few pieces of news because of mostly Shadow of the Tomb Raider. which
if you are curious, there have been multiple videos posted on our YouTube channel from Caleb.
One of which shows me dying a bunch of times, and the other of which shows me being confused about some of the skins that are available for Lara Croft in that game. But both good. Longer, better videos will be coming as well as I get further and further into the game. My full review, this is why I did not commit to having it out within a week. I'm not that far into the game. I've been playing for a lot of hours, but I am not, I don't think I'm that far through the story. I don't know. It's going to be like a 21-hour game, I suspect. So I got some ground to cover. Okay, so gaming news. First, Cities Skylines is being added to the Nintendo eShop for the Switch. So Cities Skylines, for those of you that aren't aware, is basically SimCity, except good this time. So if you think back to the original SimCity and how groundbreaking and awesome that was, and then you think to how the SimCity franchise kind of degraded over time and turned into the latest iteration of it is a phone game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of garbage.
I was going to say it's like a reality TV show, basically.
Well, yeah. Well, and that's The Sims is, yeah. But a lot of The Sims has bled over into SimCity, and it's, yeah, the latest full iteration of the game came out in 2015, I want to say, and it was plagued by so many server issues and so many broken promises that it just completely flopped, and I suspect that franchise is totally dead. However, City Skylines, there to pick up the slack, so if you were a big fan of SimCity back in the day, definitely give it a look. Sega Genesis Sega is bringing Genesis games to the Switch, mainly because they actually pushed the release date of the Genesis Classic, which was going to be obviously the same thing as the NES Classic and the SNES Classic. That's been pushed back to 2019. It was supposed to be this year, but it's not going to happen. So they're actually going to be releasing some of the games that were going to be going on there on the Switch instead, on the eShop. So,
that's cool.
Spider-Man, the Spider-Man game for PlayStation 4, that came out. Yeah, like I said, I've been slacking. It is looks amazing. Again, that game is one of the primary reasons I have been definitely considering buying a PS4. And it broke massive sales records. Like, it is officially the fastest selling game in the history of the PlayStation console.
Wow.
So, yeah. Looks great. Like, it looks really, like, all of the open world-ness that you loved about Grand Theft Auto without all of the absolute, like, armpit of humanity stuff that you didn't love about Grand Theft Auto 5. So, there you go. Okay, right. Red Dead Redemption 2. So, just this past week, Rockstar actually let media outlets in to play a demo of Red Dead Redemption 2, and apparently it's amazing. They're not really allowed to say a whole lot about the details of the game, but what they said is that it's amazing and that it is everything we hoped it would be, and it's going to blow everyone's minds, and finally we can move on from Grand Theft Auto 5. And so on and so forth. There will be an online component to RDR2 as well.
I've known quite a few people that have been wanting this game for a while.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice that it's finally coming.
Seriously. Yeah. So, yeah. Big open world. There's going to be online play similar to Grand Theft Auto Online. And, yeah. That's, finally, it's going to be coming. Also, speaking of giant open world RPGs, Cyberpunk 2077, I talked about how at E3 they had an hour-long gameplay demo for people, and then at Gamescom they had a playable demo. Like, it wasn't just a canned, like, here's a video of a demo. They actually had somebody playing the game for members of the press in private setting. And then CD Projekt Red just decided, yeah, we're just going to release that gameplay, that recorded gameplay from that demo onto YouTube. So, if you want to watch whatever it was the press were watching about Cyberpunk 2077, you can go ahead and do that. It's on their YouTube channel. Apparently, they're like they were hesitant to do that because the game's not finished. The entire thing is playable. You can play the whole thing start to finish, but there's a lot of tweaks and balance things and just little polishes that are going to go into this thing because it's CD Projekt Red. They don't release anything that isn't polished to a shine. And so, the game as it stands right now that you can watch on YouTube does not necessarily reflect exactly what the game is going to look like when it's finished. But still, if you want to watch it, it's there. Let's see. Mega Man 11, which we haven't talked about at all, which I feel a little bad about. Basically, think retro Mega Man with modern convenience. It's a Mega Man game, 2D side scroller. Even uses like the whole like pixel voxel art with like.
I love Mega Man. Ooh, sorry to go on a side little tangent. I just thought of something. Because of the way Mega Man has always been drawn up and detailed, Mega Man for Minecraft.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they have Mario for Minecraft, and I'm sure that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But just imagine Mega Man. It matches the artistic style of Minecraft.
It does.
Like,
it
perfectly.
Does. And Mega Man never really went through the smoothing phase that Mario has.
No, it never did.
Mario has become progressively more and more polished, and if you go play Mario Odyssey, like, it doesn't look like a classic Mario game at all. Right. Whereas Mega Man, the main franchise games never really departed from the 2D side-scrolling action platforming stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, you'd have to tweak it a little bit, obviously. To get the 3D aspect.
But like that pixel art style, like that's very familiar to that series.
Okay, sorry. That just popped in my head. That would be awesome.
I mean, really, all I was going to say is Mega Man 11 is coming on October 2nd.
Cool.
Woohoo!
I love Mega Man.
Yeah.
That was always one of my favorite games.
All you fans of the Mega Man franchise that were very disappointed with Mighty Number 9, here you go. Okay. COD BLOPS 4, Blackout, had a beta last week. 2 weeks ago? Last week. I can't remember. It's been a little while. Basically, so this is the Battle Royale version mode of the next Call of Duty Black Ops game. And it's pretty much just PUBG with better shooting and movement.
I think that's kind of what we were expecting.
Yeah. So, which means it's also kind of like Fortnite with better shooting and movement.
Right.
Which, I mean, really isn't surprising. And anyone who's played Call of Duty games, you kind of know how the shooting and how the movement in those works. It's first person. Shooting is very engaging and very direct. Movement is very quick. And they basically just took all of that and just put it into a giant map arena with a bunch of people, and it's a battle royale. So, okay, cool. I sure hope that doesn't end up being the standout feature of COD BLOPS 4, because otherwise then all of our first-person shooters are going to turn into battle royales, and I'm just not okay with that future.
Yeah.
Like, that is the darkest timeline as far as I'm concerned.
There's going to be a Halo version soon.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, anyways, we'll see how that goes, but the Blackout beta itself actually looked quite popular. Lots and lots of people played it, and it looked pretty darn good. Like, honestly, for my money, the way I play games, I think that would be the battle royale that I would actually really enjoy. So,
I'm sure that's a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, Call of Duty has been huge.
Oh, yeah.
Forever.
Yep.
Since it came out, So I'm sure this is going to be a pretty popular game.
It probably will be.
And that, part of it is also going to be pretty popular.
It's going to be interesting to see if it can actually make a dent in the popularity of Fortnite, because nothing else has.
True.
Absolutely nothing else
This
has been
would
able to
probably
touch it.
be the first one to tempt at that.
Yes. But I mean, you still have to buy a game.
Right.
Fortnite is free, and it's kind of hard to argue with that. But
right. But I mean, the Call of Duty fan base is pretty devoted.
They are, and they're big.
They're going to buy the game.
Yep.
It's just a matter of if they play this style.
Right. If this mode is more popular than just the normal multiplayer,
right,
then that will be a huge thing. And I hope
because that's the other thing with Call of Duty is multiplayer has always been popular.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that's the only version of the game that I've played it.
Exactly. Well, and there's not even a single player version of Black Ops 4 now.
Right.
Like, I mean, I guess you can do the zombies mode single player if you want to. But like, yeah, they took the single player campaign out of COD BLOPS 4 and they added a battle royale mode instead. So yeah, we're going to have to see how that shakes out once it actually releases. But, interesting stuff. Okay, this is actually Amazon gaming news, which, Amazon has been doing a lot over the past week. The Fire TV had a controller that you could buy for it. It's no longer compatible. So
that's funny.
Weird. Apparently that was not a primary reason people were buying Fire TVs.
Which, weird, right? No.
Yeah, right. As an owner of a 4th gen Apple TV and a controller for that 4th gen Apple TV, I can just say one thing. I'm not surprised.
People that are buying these type of devices aren't buying them for gaming.
No.
If you're buying this type of device for gaming, you bought an NVIDIA Shield.
Yes. Yeah. And let's be honest, you didn't buy an NVIDIA Shield. You bought an Xbox.
Console, yeah.
Or a PlayStation. That's what you bought. And that's what I'm like sitting here like, yeah, that's what I'm going to buy. Even though there are good games on the Apple TV that you can play with a controller. They're great. Like Minecraft is on there. You play with a controller. It's great. Transistor, one of the best games I've ever played. I played it on an Apple TV with a controller. But that's not the primary reason anybody buys a set-top box like this. So not surprised that Amazon decided to cut that. The last piece of gaming news that I want to talk about goes along with my rant about pre-ordering hardware earlier. And that is the NVIDIA 2000 series RTX graphics card launch. So they're out. People pre-ordered them because it's been a couple of weeks since we talked about the announcement, and pre-orders went live after that announcement. Bunches of people pre-ordered them out of existence, and they pre-ordered all of the third-party manufactured graphics cards out of existence as well for the 2080 and the 2080 Ti. Now, this is why I say don't pre-order on a promise. The 2080 is about the same performance level as the 1080 Ti. We were not able to actually benchmark performance for these things in rasterized gaming, which is what counts right now, because ray-traced gaming doesn't exist yet. There are none available. One of the demos they showed off during their announcement event was Shadow of the Tomb Raider. If you open up Shadow of the Tomb Raider and you go into the settings and you try to turn on ray tracing, it's all like, hey, that's not a thing yet. We'll be releasing an update for the game later that adds that. And yeah, great. So everything is raster. That's raster rendering the same way we have been doing rendering since the dawn of graphics cards. The 2080 in rastered rendering performs about the same as the 1080 Ti. The 2080 Ti is about 15 to 20% better than the 1080 Ti. So, top of the line, 15-20% improvement over last year's top of the line. Okay, that's about what we expect for a generational improvement of graphics cards. It's not surprising at all. And if the 2080 Ti were replacing the 1080 Ti's price point, nobody would care. That would be great. 20% improvement, you're paying the same price as you paid last year. Awesome. Technology is getting better. The consumer wins. Everybody's happy. Problem is, 1080 Ti costs about $700.
Yeah.
The 2080 costs about $800. The 2080 Ti is between $1,100 and $1,200. So, you're paying 7% more money for 5% worse performance in the case of the 2080, or 70% more money for only 15% better performance in the case of the 2080 Ti. This is the worst value for money proposition that I could have possibly imagined, and basically, don't buy these cards. Just don't. The 2080 and 2080 Ti are a waste of money. And they're, don't buy them.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously they were bought a lot in pre-orders.
Yep.
So the price isn't going to go down quickly.
Nope.
But now that these specs are out and people are saying, oh, that's a bad idea, people are going to stop buying them.
Sure hope so.
Hopefully, at that price. And then they're going to realize, oh, crap, we need to drop the price on these so people actually buy them.
Let's hope.
And hopefully that happens I don't see it happening by the end of the year. I see it happening next year sometime.
Yeah.
Probably February at the earliest.
And honestly, what I expect to happen is the next generation of graphics prices will go back to a more sane price point. I don't think the 20 series, the 2080 or the 2080 Ti, I don't think those are ever going to be a good value proposition.
Yeah.
Because the one area where they are significantly, vastly superior to last year's cards is in ray tracing performance, which isn't even, real-time ray tracing isn't even possible on the 10,000 series cards. So, okay, fair enough. Ray tracing is awesome. But there aren't any applications that can use it right now.
Yeah.
And it's going to take at least a year before there's a significant number of applications that can use it. And by that point in time, we're going to have new graphics cards. So,
yep.
I don't know. I think it's a terrible value proposition. And yeah, you're getting a little bit better raster performance for the things because they are integrating some of the technology that was introduced with last year's Titan V, which used the Volta architecture, which we're never going to see consumer level cards for the Volta architecture. But a lot of the stuff learned from Volta wasn't incorporated into the Turing architecture for these new cards. So that's there. And that's where the 20% improvement in performance is coming from. It's basically the same as the Titan V. That's what the 2080 Ti is just a cheaper Titan V, but it's not that much cheaper. The Titan V was $1,700. So this is a few $100s less, but it's still almost double the price of a 1080 Ti for 15% improvement in performance. That's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Not worth it at all.
Yeah. Especially since a whole bunch of cryptocurrency miners are now going out of business and trying to sell off all their old hardware. And so you can go buy a used 1080 Ti for half the price of a new 1080 Ti, and you get the same performance as the new 1080 Ti. So you're getting 15% worse performance than the 2080 Ti. You're paying literally 20% of the price. There's no reason to buy the 20 series cards. Just don't. Don't do it.
Yep.
If you're in the market for a new graphics card right now, I think you should be kind of happy that there are a whole bunch of idiots who pre-ordered the 2080 and the 2080 Ti and are going to be trying to sell their used 1080s and 1080 Ti's. Just buy one of those. And yeah, you'll get great performance. You'll be very happy. You get like fantastic performance in 4K gaming, and yeah, you're going to love that card. And actually it uses less power too. So I don't know. It was a really botched launch for for these cards. And every reviewer is kind of in the same boat with this because Nvidia kept the cards so hushed. Like they didn't talk at all about actual raster benchmark performance versus last year's cards. They wouldn't let the reviewers release reviews for these things until like literally the day they launched. And so basically everyone came out that day and they're like, if you pre-ordered one of these things, you've been charged. It's on its way. I'm sorry. Like, you wasted your money. Everybody else, don't buy it. Just don't. And I agree. Like, NVIDIA promised us a massive game-changing performance, but we're not going to see anything game-changing until real-time ray tracing is supported by all of the software, and none of the software supports it right now. So we're not going to see that for at least another 6 months.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I feel bad for anybody that pre-ordered it, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was nobody listening to this podcast.
Hopefully.
But, you know,
if you are one, we're sorry.
We're sorry. And if you were thinking about it, good job for dodging that bullet.
Yeah.
And, you know, go pick up a 1080 Ti. So, there you go. That's all the gaming news that I had.
All right.
And I guess that's all the news we had. Unless you had one more thing.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, dear listener, thank you for joining us this week. And next week, Wes will probably be back. But, you know, like, I don't know, Landon will be sick or something like that. Just
Hey,
we're on a
stop
cycle.
it.
Oh,
Stop
actually,
it.
no, 2 weeks from now, right? Because last week we were all three available. But it was 2 weeks ago I was gone. So Wes is gone this week. So 2 weeks from now, it's your turn.
Well, if I'm gone, then...
Yeah, I guess we'll be streaming games on Twitch instead or something. Anyways, thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day.
See ya.